Hey everyone, welcome back to Shhhcrets. Today, we're diving into something that's got a lot of people conflicted, especially in the Black community. We're talking about Diddy, Kanye West, and Jay-Z, three of the most powerful Black men in the music industry who seemed untouchable. But now, Diddy is behind bars, Kanye's facing some serious allegations, and Jay-Z, well, people are wondering if he might be next. What happened? How did these symbols of Black success find themselves at this point? Let's talk about it. Now, before we jump into the specifics, think about this for a second. Doesn't this situation remind you of three blind mice? Stay with me for a moment. Three blind mice, three blind mice. See how they run, see how they run. Just like the nursery rhyme, Diddy, Kanye, and Jay-Z have been running for years, running after success, power, and wealth. But were they blind to the consequences? The fame and fortune blinded them to the reality of their actions. They were so focused on the chase, they couldn't see what was catching up to them. They all ran after the farmer's wife who cut off their tails with a carving knife. In this case, the farmer's wife represents the fame, fortune, and power they all chase relentlessly, but also the consequences of living fast and recklessly, which have finally caught up to them. Diddy is already behind bars, his tail cut off by the weight of his actions. Kanye's in legal hot water too, facing lawsuits left and right. And Jay-Z, well, people are starting to wonder if he'll be next, but more on that in a bit. These men are losing their status, their reputation, and maybe even their freedom. The carving knife of accountability is sharp and it's cutting deep. Did you ever see such a sight in your life as three blind mice? And here we are, witnessing the fallout. The Black community is watching as these men, once symbols of success, find themselves in the middle of serious legal battles and public scrutiny. It's like, did we ever expect to see something like this happen? It's shocking, but maybe, just maybe, it was inevitable. So, let's start with Diddy. Yes, Mr. Bad Boy himself, the man who built an empire by claiming to elevate Black artists. But if we're being real, his success came on the backs of those very artists. For years, we've heard about how he allegedly exploited talent. Maze, Kellis, the list goes on. These are artists who made Diddy millions while they were left fighting for the rights to their own work. And now, here we are. Diddy, a man who once seemed invincible, is sitting behind bars. It's sad to see, but we have to ask, is this karma or just the inevitable result of living too fast, too reckless, and too disconnected from the community he said he represented? But it's about to get messier. Attorney Tony Busby, who's leading some of these lawsuits, has said that big-name celebrities who allegedly helped Diddy carry out and cover up sexual assaults are next on his list. He's already sent out demand letters to some of these famous people, giving them the chance to settle out of court before things go public. This is huge because we're not just talking about Diddy anymore. There's a whole circle of people who might be going down with him, and we'll soon find out exactly who. Now, let's talk about Kanye.
The city has changed dramatically, tragically, and perhaps irreversibly. There's now over 25 feet of water where there was once city streets and thriving neighborhoods.
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a Black family, it says they're looting. You see a white family, it says they're looking for food, and you know it's been 5 days because most of the people are Black. George Bush doesn't care about Black people.
Please call.
In the past few days,
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all?
Oh, Kanye. This one hits hard because we watched him go from being the voice of a generation to, well, whatever this is now. Kanye's career was full of brilliance, but somewhere along the way it got dark. First, it was his public support for Trump, followed by his "slavery was a choice" comments. It was like watching someone you love lose themselves, you know? And now, Kanye's facing legal allegations too. Recently, he was sued by a former assistant, Lauren Pisciata, who alleges that Kanye drugged and sexually assaulted her during a studio session co-hosted by Diddy. She claims she was roofied at the session, with Kanye telling everyone that they had to drink if they wanted to stay. After just a few sips, Pisciata says she blacked out, only for Kanye to later admit they hooked up. It's dark, and this lawsuit just adds to the pile of legal issues Kanye's already facing. It's heartbreaking because Kanye was the voice of a generation, someone we look to for truth and creativity. The same man who once said George Bush doesn't care about black people has become unrecognizable. It's like, where did it all go wrong? Was it the money, the fame, or did he just surround himself with the wrong people who let him spiral? We all know Kanye's loyal fan base, but even they're starting to struggle with who he's become. And then there's Jay-Z. Yeah, Jay-Z. The chess master, always 10 steps ahead, or so we thought. Jay-Z has always been about one thing, Jay-Z. We watched him cut ties with his longtime business partner, Dame Dash, without even blinking. And Kanye? Jay-Z used him when it suited him and then tossed him aside when he became a liability. But maybe what's most frustrating about Jay-Z is the way he presents himself as a champion of black excellence, while behind the scenes, it's all about the dollars. Remember the whole NFL and Colin Kaepernick situation? Jay-Z talked a good game about supporting the movement, then signed a huge deal with the NFL not long after. It's hard not to feel like he's always working some angle, always calculating the next move, no matter who he has to step on. Now, let me be clear. Jay-Z hasn't been charged with anything, but people are starting to ask, is he next? He's been part of the same circles, ran in the same lanes, and was just as tight with Diddy and Kanye back in the day. Could he be implicated as these lawsuits roll out? After all, Busby's already said that some big celebrities who were close to Diddy are going to be dragged into court unless they settle. Could Jay-Z be one of them?
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that.
The thing is, though, the black community is divided on how to feel about all this. On one hand, it's heartbreaking. These men represented the pinnacle of success for so many of us. They were proof that black people could rise to the top, make billions, and build empires. But on the other hand, we can't ignore the fact that pride, greed, and exploitation were at the heart of their success. It's like, are we supposed to feel bad for them, or is this just the price they pay for forgetting where they came from? These men didn't just turn their backs on a few people, they turned their backs on the entire black community. They became so consumed with the pursuit of power and wealth that they lost sight of what really mattered. Diddy and Jay-Z especially built their brands on the idea of black excellence. But at what cost? How many young black artists were exploited to get them where they are today? How many bridges were burned along the way? Now, don't get me wrong, there's no denying the impact these men have had. They've changed the music industry forever. But the question is, did they sell out the community that made them? And if they did, is it any surprise that they're facing the consequences now? So, let's talk about it. Could Jay-Z be next? And if so, what do you think they'll get him for? Because with Diddy's circle of associates about to be named in lawsuits, it's not impossible to imagine Jay-Z getting caught up in this too. Do you think he's untouchable or just playing the game better than the rest? Let me know in the comments because this conversation is about to heat up. And don't forget to like this video and to subscribe if you like my vibe. Until the next video, bye.